So this is the review game that we play. It's competitive because I am competitive. The story is told that while playing spoons with my 6-year-old daughter, I grabbed a spoon out of her hand and trash talked her afterward. So, and that may or may not be true. I think it's kind of become urban legend in our family, and maybe it's gotten exaggerated just a little bit. Anyway, so there are 2 teams. I ask questions, you answer them. I ask the question, and you can stand up to answer the question after I say go. But if you stand up before I say go, you can't answer that question. You can answer the next one, but not that one. Team with the most points wins. The team that wins candy, but not today. So let's say the team on this side, guys, shh. The team on this side has the first person to stand up. I ask the question. If they get it right, they get the points. If they get it wrong, it goes over to the other team. If they get it right, they get the points. If they don't get it right, it goes back to the first team. Again, if they get it right, they get points. If they get the points, if they don't, it comes back to the second team a second time. After that, we're done, and I just give you the answer. Can't go or can't stand up until I say go. What rules am I forgetting?
Candy involved?
No questions? Oh, it's the first person I see stand up I call on. So you can argue with me whether that was the right first person, but the thing is you won't win. I mean, you can argue it, but you won't win. Okay, how do you want to break up the teams?
Not boys.
Boys versus girls.
No.
Boys versus girls.
There's 3 of us.
Boys versus girls. Yeah. Underdogs. We're losing, bro. Imagine the cloud you get. Imagine the cloud you get.
Caitlin, Claire, can you scooch and let Grace be on your team?
Yeah. Okay.
No, wait, let's not do it that way.
I was about to say.
No.
She's ours.
I'll take you on. That's what I
No, it's class.
Let's just do team captains.
No.
Hannah and Megan get to be team captains.
You scooch.
Wait, so we're on the same team.
Just move that chair so you can move over. Or you can scoot down to the chair.
No. Take that chair so we have enough space. Just take one.
Make sure you have room to stand up. We don't want any injuries. We've had that before. What?
Oh my gosh, this is not fair.
This is a
Caitlin, how can I help you?
Oh.
No, we have even teams.
No, not today. But Caitlin, you can decide your team's name.
That's okay.
Killer whales. Killer whales.
It's your choice.
Elijah, put down.
What are you doing?
Do you guys have a preference of your name?
No, don't ask that.
Yeah, you can
Killer
come up
whales.
with it.
No.
I want to be.
What do you want to be?
What? Just put
BL.
Saturday for the pool.
Round up one killer.
What does it mean?
Belly button.
Belly button. Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, I like that.
Ladies, what's your team name?
3 belly buttons in the word.
What's your team
I
name?
love you, but sometimes I question
They
you.
said I was a picture.
No. The no-nos?
They have
You the no-nos?
4 belly buttons.
It's just
No.
Why did we put that?
No, because that's stupid.
Really?
Why would we do that?
Can we put
S.
Ubayant?
No, SK.
No.
SK.
Don't put the X.
SK.
SK.
S. SK. K. S. K. S.
You just repeat it. I think she has it.
S.
Are we supposed to do it?
And then put 6.
Got it. Are we rolling?
Ubayant.
Are we rolling? Are we filming? We got all that on film.
Okay.
That's fabulous. That's great. That's wonderful.
She's gonna be so confused when she.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Angela. But the rest of this is going to be good. Trust me.
Ignore that.
American culture.
Okay, are we ready? Feet on the floor. Ready to stand up? The first person I see stand up after I say go. Do not stand up until I say go. Gets a chance at answering the question. Here's your first question. What geographic area of Israel might best be described as rolling hills? Go. Caitlin. The Shapala, yes. Very good.
Let's try this.
Next question. This is a true or false question, so you've got a 50-50 shot at this. All the gospel accounts cover the same events in the life of Christ. Go. Grace. False. That is false.
Dang, all right, we already lost our shutout.
Next question. What is the ancient philosophy that stated that God was absolutely good and matter was absolutely evil? Go. I believe that was Caitlin again. Or not Caitlin again, excuse me, Grace again.
Gnosticism.
Gnosticism. You won't have to know how to spell it. So you just have to identify it. True or false? The name that Jesus most often applied to himself in referring to his deity was I am. You two are out. Go. Caitlin. True.
Wait, that was true or false?
Next question. Around which Jewish feast did much of Christ's earthly ministry revolve? Go. Oh, that was so close to being early, but I'm going to give it to you.
Passover?
Passover. Oh, I knew that was, yeah, because that's the song. No, that's not.
I guess I can.
Never mind. I will tell you, a Christian comedian is how I knew. He talks about what he learned in Spanish, words, things that he can't ever use, like mi amigo is saque mondo, and it means my navel is on fire. So where are you going to use that, right? Okay, so that's how I know that. Okay. Did I ask around which Jewish feast? That was the last one I asked. Excellent.
No.
You want to answer it again? True or false? The Gospel of John is one of the shortest books in the New Testament. Go. Rose.
False.
That's false. Next question. What word meaning see together is used to designate 3 of the 4 Gospels? Go. I'm going to go with Jake. So now it's like 4 people at the same time. Make sure you're paying attention. Shh. Up here, please. True or false? The best estimated date for the writing of the Gospel of John is AD 80 to 90. Go. Mr. Goots.
True.
That's true. Yeah.
The staple is so shaky. So.
Now she knows your name is, the first name is Elijah and her last name is Goots. Next question. Which ruler of Galilee and Perea killed John the Baptist? Go. Caitlin?
Oh, Herod Antipas?
Yes.
How do you say his last name?
If you just say it, nobody will know the difference. How many losses does the Husker volleyball team have? Go. Yeah. None.
Dang it. I knew that one too.
I was gonna say that.
Notice I'm talking about Husker volleyball and not
You do.
Husker football. Next question. Who was the ruler over Judea and Samaria at the time of Christ's birth? Go. Grace.
Herod.
Which Herod? Caitlin.
Herod the Great.
Herod the Great.
I think it's going to say Roman Empire.
What?
The ruler? True or false? The name of the Apostle John is mentioned often in the Gospel of John. Go. I'm going to go with Maria. That's false. Be loud, be proud. False. You know it. You got it. Which geographic feature of Palestine is the lowest point on the Earth's surface? Go. That one I think was a little early, but I think you were on time, Ben.
Dead Sea.
Dead Sea.
And we can't let them get to 6.
Next question. What is the point of highest elevation in Israel? Go. That was Elijah.
Mount Hermon.
Yes, good job.
Next question. How many, this is kind of convoluted sentence, I'm sorry. How many cities that Christ visited or are mentioned during his earthly ministry are named in the Gospels? Go. Caitlin? 21.
Oh.
Yeah.
Next question. What major river runs the length of Israel? Go. Early. Hannah. The Jordan River. Next question. Which gospel, now do you remember that part of the study guide where I told you needed to know the differences between the gospels or something like that?
Yeah.
I'm about to give you all of those questions that are on the test, okay? So which gospel was written specifically to the Jews? Go. Grace?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Yes.
That is correct. Next question. Which gospel emphasized the humanity of Christ? Go. Grace again.
Mark.
Caitlin?
Grace.
Luke. Remember, Luke was a physician, so he was concerned with the humanity of Christ, in part because of that. Which gospel used the word straight away or immediately often? Go. Grace.
No! Stand up, bro! Stand up!
It's your turn.
But they didn't stand up. They didn't stand up.
Rose.
What do you mean?
No! Say
She said
It's Mark.
Did you just say that? Did you just say that?
I didn't even call on you.
Yeah, but it's our group's turn.
But I'm going to give you the point because it was so adorable. It's Mark.
It's Mark.
It was all of them left. Then
Great.
I stood up. He's like, it's mine.
Remember that the Gospel of Mark wrote down faithfully everything Peter told him, and it makes sense. Peter, this active guy, this man of action, immediately Jesus went here, and immediately they did that. And it's a very moving, in a literal sense, gospel. Okay, next question. What team did our volleyball team defeat in the first match of the season? Go. Jake? Whiting.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
None of the volleyball players stood up. Well, I thought you meant
like the Huskers or something.
I thought you meant Nebraska.
No, our that's
I mean, they are ours.
they're mine too, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. These are more things that are different about each gospel. Which gospel featured the sermons of Christ prominently? Go. Rose?
Matthew?
I think that's right.
It is.
Yeah, it is right.
I just put on straight.
I didn't know that because I remember.
Next question. Which gospel featured the parables of Christ prominently? Go. Grace? Luke is correct.
Oh my gosh.
Next question. Which gospel portrays Christ as God? Go. Ben? John. Next question. Which gospel is sometimes called the simple gospel? Go. Grace? John. Next question. Which gospel is not one of the synoptic gospels? Go. Early. Grace.
John.
Just a hair ahead of you.
Can we just stand up when we know?
Which gospel was written specifically to the Romans? Go. That was Caitlin. Mark.
Do you look at the chart in your head?
Next question. Which gospel was written to all people? Go. Ooh, that was everybody. Ben. John.
I know. I was like,
She turned the wrong way.
She looks
Christ's healing of, that's all of the ones about the different gospels. Christ's healing of the man who had been lame 38 years proved that he was Lord of what? Go. Ben.
All?
No. Christ's healing of the man who was lame for 38 years proved that he is Lord of what?
Wait. They don't know. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You can stand up.
There's no time limit. Is there no time limit?
Well, there is, eventually. You can give it a shot?
Nope, that's time, that's.
Jake?
Death?
No.
That actually is. Okay, fine, Rick. Can we go
No,
again?
you don't get it.
No, just try it.
Dad? That's your answer, bro?
Yeah.
Lord of the sick.
No,
Can I just say?
no. Lord of the Sabbath. When did he heal the lame? On the Sabbath. Lord of the Sabbath.
That's not what she asked.
Next question.
He healed someone. Hold up, Dad.
Up here, guys. Up here. Next question. The feature of Christ's ministry most emphasized in the Gospel of John is Christ's what? I'm sorry, I didn't say go right away, so everybody gets a shot at this. Go. Grace. Nope. Listen to this again. The feature of Christ's ministry most emphasized in the Gospel of John is Christ's. Caitlin? Yes. The feature of Christ's ministry most emphasized in the Gospel of John is Christ's.
Can you say the question? Like the feature of Christ's ministry.
You want me to say it again?
Yeah.
The feature of Christ's ministry most emphasized in the Gospel of John is Christ's what?
Oh.
What?
It's not that.
What'd you say?
Words.
Words? Yeah. His
Oh,
own words.
I was about to say it's not actions.
Christ's own words.
Baby.
Remember that John isn't so much telling us that Jesus is Messiah, but using Christ's own words, letting Christ tell us by his own words that he is Messiah. Where's the Husker volleyball team currently ranked in the nation? Go. Yeah. What? 12th?
They haven't lost a game,
Yeah.
bro.
First?
Third.
No.
Second.
Yes, but that was your third time too.
Nobody else could have.
They are currently ranked
Please count it because he was so
second.
adorable. Yeah, I'm more old than this.
As long as you're short.
That one little move was adorable. They are second. 5 of the top 10 teams are Big Ten teams. Half of the top 10 is from the Big Ten. 7 of the top 20 are Big Ten.
So we're basically insane.
Well, the Big Ten is definitely the best volleyball league. Okay, how many miracles of Christ does John record? Go. Hannah. 7. Next question. The Synoptic Gospels deal primarily with what Jesus did. John, the Gospel of John, deals primarily with who or what Jesus blank. Go.
True.
Grace.
Said he was.
I'm going to give it to you.
Because you're so good.
I'm going to give it to you. Yeah, she's good. It is who Jesus is or who Jesus was, but you had that in it. So, who Jesus was. I think that's going to be a multiple choice. I'll read it again. Shh.
Kieser.
Shh. I'm not going to read it until you're quiet. I will answer your question. I'm answering the first question
No, this
first.
is not urgent.
Shh. Here's the question. The Synoptic Gospels deal primarily with what Jesus did. John deals primarily with who or what Jesus is or was. But is what's on the test. What was your question?
I'd like to call it cheating. She was using her study guide.
Hannah was using her study guide?
Yeah.
You know what? She didn't know she couldn't, but now she does. So that's okay. We'll give her a pass on that one. During which Jewish month did most of Christ's recorded ministry? Which Jewish month did most of Christ's recorded ministry occur? Go. Wow, this is one everybody knows. Rose? What?
Innovation.
Nissan. Yep. Nissan. Next question. Whose words does John most often use to emphasize Christ's deity? Go. Ben? Jesus. Yeah.
Is that a trick question?
No, it's not Jesus' words, Christ's own words. To which months of our calendar does Nissan correspond? Go. Ben?
April or March?
Yeah, March.
March, April. I say April.
Next question. What does the name Christ mean? Go. Hannah, you were just a tad early. Claire?
Anointed one of God.
Anointed one. What is the other meaning? Go. Grace?
Messiah.
Messiah. Anointed one or Messiah. Which area of Israel, Palestine, was the primary geographic focus of Christ's ministry? Go. Rose?
Judea.
Judea, depending on who you talk to. And this is worth up to 3 points, depending on how well you do. Recite for me, please, John 20:31. Go. Caitlin.
Is it the, like, for this was written so that we might believe in him, and by believing have life in his name?
I will give you 1.5 points for that.
Oh, 1.5.
These were written that you may these were written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Last question. Where does my son go to school? Go. Ben?
Dork University.
That's a double. No.
Okay. You are going to have to remember which of you were the ombligos, because I will not. And you need to be honest.
The boys and then 2 Caitlin's and then.
Okay, would you like to hear about this test?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is where I give you details about the test, so pay attention. Actually, that was on the test. By the way, every question on here was just asked except for the map, and I'll explain the map to you. There are 5 true-false questions. There are all of which were asked in the Kieser quiz. There are 10 matching questions. The 4 choices are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And you're going to tell me, for example, which gospel was specifically written to the Jews, or which gospel features Christ's sermons prominently, things like that. So you're gonna match the gospel to the fact about the gospel. And then there are 10, I think it's 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They call this short answer. It's really more like fill in the blank. It's really more like terms, if that makes sense. So it's a number of terms that will if you know what's on the Kieser quiz, you'll get it right. Then there's a map with 10 items on it. Those 10 items, I believe, are listed on your study guide, correct? And what you will do is the numbers are 26 to 35, and you will write the number. There's the same map that was on your Chapter 3 quiz. You will write the number of that geographic feature on the where it is on the map. Got it? Got it. Okay, excellent. Multiple choice. There are 10 of those, I believe. There are 10 of those, all of which are terms that you were on the study guide. Now let's talk about the essay, which isn't really an essay. It's more like a, guys, no. It's not even a short answer. It's like I don't know. I'm just going to tell you what it says, and we won't come up with a name for it. According to John 20, 30, and 31, what was the twofold purpose of the book of John? That's the first part of it. It has 2 parts. So the first thing you need to tell me is what was the first purpose and what was the second purpose of John's gospel based on John 20, in this case really 31, which is why I had you recite it. So you need to know what it says in order to know the twofold purpose. Purpose 1, purpose 2. That's what twofold means. He has 2 purposes. That's the first thing, is to write out each purpose. The second question is this: how does John provide the means by which those 2 purposes are accomplished? In other words, how does he show us that Jesus is the Messiah? How does he show us that we can have life in his name? What does he use to show us that? There are 5 choices, 5 different things you could say, and I'm only asking for 2. And I'm going to give you one right now. Well, actually, why don't you give me one? What do you think is one?
According to my study guide.
Caitlin? What? he uses Christ's own words showing his deity, the things that Jesus said about himself, where he is saying that he is God. So his own words about himself saying that he's God. That would be one of the means, and you're just explaining that. It's not an essay.
How many do they want?
Complete sentences are always nice, but I won't require them. So, and then then you need a second one, and you can find that somewhere in your notes or in your student work. You can find that. Okay, and then there's one extra credit question, which actually was also on the Kieser quiz.
Volleyball.
Okay, any questions? 65 points. It won't take you very long. You'll have some extra time tomorrow, so bring something to work on.